Hey everybody, this is Gaynor Meilke and this is Tea with Miss G. And today we're going to have a spot of tea and serve up some wisdom on family, which is the F in our conscious success plan for life. And life is for love, identity, family, and enterprise. So those are the 4 areas that I specialize in as a conscious coach and a business coach and a entrepreneur myself. And family has become kind of a very important cause that's near and dear to my heart. I just finished the certification with Dr. Shefali, Oprah's favorite parenting expert for conscious parenting, because obviously when we think about family, the nuclear family is where we all begin. And hopefully, if we're lucky, and I do believe that you're lucky if you can have children and help them grow and become who they are meant to be, that family expands at some point too. But that's not without its challenges, as we all know. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about simplicity, because we live in a very complex world, and I'm going to be speaking actually soon this week on conscious parenting for a chaotic world, and it just made me think that I haven't really done a video on that recently. And the chaos, every time I talk to parents, I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of younger parents with kids, and they're finding it challenging. And my daughter, who's 19 now, she was always a very, I would say, chill child, like pretty agreeable. And we only had one child, so it was a lot easier to kind of focus on her. But a lot of parents struggle with multiple competing priorities, both with multiple children, but then also you have careers, you've got activities, you've got your relationship and all of those things. So just some thoughts today on simplicity. And we tend to be a culture here in the US where more is seen as better, but actually more can be a detriment, especially when it comes for kids and our own nervous systems as well, is that you kind of have to step out of the cultural conditioning that we have around always being busy, especially when you have kids. And I know with my daughter, like, the things that I believe were important were all the times that we played together. And although I didn't always, I would say feel like playing, Barbies or, some of the games, it was important, and I liked doing it because I got to connect with her. And I think now people have become more disconnected, and it's actually seems to be more acceptable to be disconnected on your phone or that. And I just think that it's disrespectful, one, to choose your device over a live human being, no matter who they are, and especially if it's like a member of your family. And you're also teaching your children that habit, and it is a habit, instead of teaching them how to connect with people. And I wasn't actually really planning to do a video right now all about disconnection and devices, but I think it's a good case in point that keeping things simple also means that we stay present and that we're not constantly reacting to something, that we can just sit in the moment. And especially with kids, sitting in the moment, while it may seem like it's a quote waste of time for you, it actually is really good for all members of the family, because it also allows the brain and the body to slow down. And instead of like constantly getting a dopamine rush of, okay, now we're playing a video game, okay, now we're going to a birthday party, now we're doing a swimming lesson, and it's just kind of stretching the time out between activities, but then also making connections during those activities. So that's something to think about when it comes to simplicity, and maybe just having 1 or 2 practices that you do daily to help simplify things. And it might be that you reduce the number of activities that your kids are involved in. It could be that instead of looking at something on an iPad before you go to bed, we read a story out of a book. It could be that instead of rushing to go to 15 play dates during the week, you pick 3 or 4, and then the rest of the time your kids could go outside and play, or give them some crafts or something like that to do. So the idea of simplifying family life, like, it kind of flies in the face of our hyper doing world, but you probably heard the saying that we're human beings, not doings. And I think for kids these days, it's important to instill that in them as well, so that they're not the ones who are always chasing the next high from something external, instead of feeling connected with everybody else within their social and family circles, because that's also a very protective practice for parents. So if you really want to protect the well-being of your child, you need to help them simplify, self-regulate, and make connections, because community will be healthier for them than anything that they can be looking at on a digital device. So just a few thoughts. We have lots more content at planseedtraining.com, but I hope you found this helpful, and it's something that you can think about this week as you get started kind of planning things out, maybe for the week ahead, that you can start to streamline and simplify, so that you've got more space for connection, instead of trying to jam everything in. So hopefully you can take some time and let this spot of tea soak in. And if you've got any comments, feel free to drop them below.